Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I will crochet forward in this video by showing you how to make my baby Converse booty pattern. So let's get started. The materials you're going to need is some yarn. I am using Lion brand yarns Pound of Love. This is a medium 4 and there are 1,020 yards. You get a lot for your money on this. And I've been using this with a lot of the baby shower videos. Again, I have blue, white, and pastel. They are called pastel pink, pastel blue, and white. You are going to need some crochet thread. This is Aunt Lydia's black and white for the logo. I am using a 3.0 millimeter crochet hook. However, you can use a 3.25 or even a 3.5. I'm making mine smaller for a set of twins, and as you know, twins are born 9 times out of 10 early, and they're very tiny little babies. You'll need some scissors and a sewing needle. So the first thing we want to do is get a slip knot. Okay. And then we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the second chain from the hook, make a single crochet. And then another one, and one in your last stitch for a total of 4 single crochets. So for this whole entire project, we are not going to be chaining 1 and turning our work. We're just going to be lifting our yarn up and then inserting our hook from the side. Making sure that that stitch right here, we're always going to go right into that same stitch, is kind of loose. So we're going to make 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, lifting our loop up or yarn up and then come in from the side, keeping this loose, and then make 4 single crochets. So this is my 3rd row. We need a total of 12 rows. So go ahead and finish making 4 single crochets for 12 rows. After you have finished your 12 rows, we're going to turn our work like we've been doing, and then we're going to make 3 single crochets in this same stitch. And if you can, remember to make them kind of loosely. 1, 2, 3. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 3 single crochets in that last stitch. 1, 2, 3. I also want to mention that you can control the speed of this video under settings. So now we're going to work down our first side. So we're going to make 1 single crochet all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's weird. So if you get 9, 10, or 11, that's just fine. You're just going to make sure to make those stitches the same count on the other side. So now we're at our chain. We want to make 2 single crochets there. 1, 2, 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and then 2 in the last stitch. 2, and then now we're going to make 9 single crochets down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the top of our very first single crochet for that row. And now we're going to single crochet in that same stitch and then just make one single crochet all the way around, even in your corners. Just one single crochet all the way around, and you can work in your tail if you'd like, and I will meet you back here. So one single crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you right there. After you've crocheted one single crochet all the way around, we're going to slip to join to our first stitch, and now we're going to make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 single crochets in that corner. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet all the way around, and I will meet you back here. After you have single crochet all the way around, go ahead and slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet. Now I'm not going to chain one, like I said I wasn't going to do, and just to show you real quick how I sew in my ends. Just go ahead and thread our needle, we can get it. It's too fuzzy. Now for this one, I like to go right into the next stitch, the 2 loops right there, and then just pull out, or just pull the yarn through. That way I got a clean break, and then I come behind here for turn our work, and then I'll make a knot, not too tight, so we don't want it all fringed up. And then I just make 1 stitch across. You can come back through if you want, go back through. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do this and grab my black, and I will meet you back. The next thing we're going to do is grab our black color and get a slip knot on our hook. And you can start anywhere. I like to start where I left off in that area. What we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in the back loop only of this round. Now also what I suggest you do is like fold this outward so you can see those stitches better. And again, the back loop, you know, you have a sideway V, and you have the front, oops, that didn't go right, and then you have the back. I think I grabbed them both. We're just grabbing the back loop. Okay. And that's going to give us a little, like a little slight ridge all the way around the tennis shoe. Let me see if I can get this closer. Again, there's that sideway V. We want the back part. Just that one loop. So we're going to do that all the way back here, and I will meet you once you're done. Once you've completed your single crochet row in the back loop only, you want to slip stitch to the first single crochet Okay, and then right back into that same stitch, we're going to make a single crochet. So now the second row in black is just one single crochet in each stitch all the way around here, one single crochet. After you have finished your single crochet row, go ahead and slip stitch to your first single crochet and then fasten off. I'm going to go ahead and sew in this end and then grab your white color. So the next thing you want to do is mark your front 10 stitches, okay? And by doing that, we know the heel is here, and if it's curling up, that's what it's supposed to do. And so we're just going to fold our little booty in half and then start counting, like I've already marked mine. But I went 5 this way, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's at the bold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and marked it there. And I just took a straggler yarn. Now we want to start at the heel, grab our white. We're going to do one more round in white. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with a single crochet. I'm going to work in my tail as I go, and I'm just making regular single crochets, one in each stitch, until I get to my first stitch marker. So go ahead and make one single crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you right there at our first stitch marker. Once you're at your first stitch marker, we're going to make 10 half double crochets, and I'm just going to leave my stitch marker in there. So for the next 10 stitches, we're going to make half double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then your 10th stitch should be right where your stitch marker is. So now what we're going to do is revert back to our single crochets and just finish the round with single crochets all the way till you get right here where you started. Once you have finished your single crochets, go ahead and slip stitch to the top of the first one. And I have been working in my ends as I go on these little projects like that. I just don't like stuff all over the place. So I'm not going to take this out until I do my first row on my tongue, which is what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and get our contrast color, whatever color you're going to make your booty, this color, and then I will meet you back. So I've grabbed my pink. I'm going to get a slip knot. And now what we want to do is crochet, make half double crochets in these top 10. This is going to be the tongue portion of the booty. So I'm going to follow where my first stitch marker is. This yarn can be so challenging working with this smaller hook. Okay, and we're just going to make half double crochet. So go right back into that first stitch after you fasten on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then our last one for 10, and it should be right there where you have your stitch marker. So that is going to be our tongue. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And then what we're going to do is make 5 rows of 10 half double crochets. Okay, so then this is one. I'll make 4 more, so we'll have a total of 5. I just completed my 5th row of 10 half double crochets, and now what we're going to do is 2 rows of decreases. It's going to be in your first stitch and your last stitch. So the next row is going to be 8, and then the last row of decreases, the second row, is going to be 6. So we're going to yarn over, go into our first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into our second stitch, pull up a loop. We have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our yarn, on our hook, and then we're going to yarn over and go through all of them. That's our first stitch. So this is 2, I have to crochet in the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the last 2 together. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3, yarn over, go into your last stitch, pull up a loop. You have 5, yarn over, and go through all of them. So that's 8. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to repeat that row. 2 together, and then 4, and then 2 together for 6. Once you have finished that second row of decreases, we're just going to make one half double crochet in each stitch for our last row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so go ahead and cut your yarn, sew in your ends, and I will meet you back. The next thing we're going to do is work on our sides of our booties here. And you want to get a slip knot. And then we're going to work into these last 2, for this first row, these last 2 stitches of the tongue on each side. So you're going to yarn over and get into the neck behind, next to the last stitch, pull up our loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, and slide through all of them for a half double crochet. It's a standing half double crochet. We're going to do the same thing for the next one. Yarn over, pull up a loop. I find it easier if you hang on to the strands or the loops on your hook with your index finger. Yarn over and pull through all of them. Okay, and then from here we're just going to go right into our stitches. So all we're doing is making 1 half double crochet all the way around till we get to the other side. I've made it around, and I want to show you how we're gonna go around those first 2 stitches. We're just gonna go behind that very first one on the right side. I think that's where our slip knot is or something. It's a little tedious, and we're just gonna half double crochet. This yarn just keeps splitting. Let's do that again. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, go behind our stitch, pull up our loop. We have 3 on the hook, pull through all, yarn over, and then go into that second stitch. We want both sides to match. Yarn over. Pull up a stitch. So we're going to pull up our yarn, or pull up our loop, as we've been doing throughout the whole pattern. Now for these, we're going to do 6 rows of half double crochets, and for each row we're going to start and end the same, and that's always skipping the first stitch, and that's this stitch right here, right underneath the loop on your hook. So we're going to yarn over, skip that one, and go into the next one. And then go ahead and half double crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you on the other side. So I'm down to my last 2 stitches, and I'm going to skip the next to the last one and then make my half double crochet in that last stitch. Okay, we're going to turn our work. First pull our loop out, go to the side, and then we're going to skip that same stitch. We've been working in it all this time, but this first stitch for these last 6 rows we're going to always skip. So skip that one and go into your next one and make half double crochets. Now this is our 3rd row, so I need to ask you to get a stitch marker, and I'm sorry I did not say that at the beginning of the video. For your 3rd round, you want to take your booty and fold it in half, and then mark your middle stitch, the piece of yarn or a stitch marker, whatever you have, because we're going to do a decrease in that stitch. Okay, so keep working, and then I'll meet you at the stitch marker. I'm at my stitch marker, and I'm going to take that out. Keeps running that up on me. And now what we're going to do is a decrease, and that is yarn over, pull up your loop. You have 3 on your hook, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up your loop, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all of them. Okay, and then just continue onto your next stitch and make half double crochets. Now I guess you could say that we're doing decreases on the ends by skipping one. So there's 2 different ways that you can do decreases. You can do 2 stitches together for 1 stitch, or you can skip a stitch. So those are the 2 different ways that you can decrease. Go ahead and finish, and I will meet you at the end of this row. I'm at the end of my row. I'm in my last 2, so I'm going to skip the next to the last one and go ahead and half double crochet, into that last stitch. Okay, turn our work, skip that same stitch, and go into our next stitch. So from here we're going to make 3 rows of half double crochets all the way over here. We just have finished our 3rd row, and then we're going to skip that next to the last stitch. Turn our work and then skip the first stitch and go into your next, just like we've been doing for 3 more rows. I just want to give you a little tip here. Every time you turn your work for these last couple rows, if you can try to remember to make that stitch loose, it won't be that hard to recognize when you get in. Like right here, this is the stitch that I'm going for. That's the one that I'm skipping. You can also like see them on the side too, but I know it can be difficult. But if you can, like, after I skip that stitch, pull up my loop, come in the side, and then if I yarn over, skip that one. I want to make this first stitch loose, but this is my 6th row, so I'm not going to make that. So I'm just going to fasten off, sew in my ends, and again, grab your white. Alright, so get your white crochet thread and make a magic circle. I'm having the hardest time crocheting with this band-aid. I was moving some stuff and cut myself, but I have to wear the band-aid because I'm knocking it on everything and it keeps bleeding. So it's really awkward for me, so I apologize for that. Magic circle any way you want. I like to slip to join, and now we're going to make a single crochet in our magic circle. This is an alternate extended double crochet. Now we're going to go in that front left loop of your single crochet and make another single crochet, and then repeat that. Front left loop, make another single crochet. That is our first single crochet. Now we're going to make 12 extended double crochets. That's yarn over into our magic circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through one stitch. It's a little black there. That was stuck on my band-aid. Great. Okay. Yarn over, go through two, yarn over, go through two, yarn over inside your magic circle, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through one, yarn over, go through two, yarn over, go through two. That's 3. Yarn over, go through one. Don't know where all this black is coming from. Sorry. Yarn over, go through two, yarn over, go through two. So I have 4 on my hook. I'm going to do 8 more, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so I just finished my 12 extended double crochets. I'm going to pull that circle end tight, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that 3rd single crochet, that alternate chain 3 that we did at the beginning. Chain 1 and fasten off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just work this end in from the back here and just make a knot with this really small one. So I'm good with that. Now what you want to do is grab your black crochet thread, and we're going to make a row of single crochets, put a slip knot on. You can join anywhere you want. I'm going to work in this end as I go, and we're going to make 6 or two. I'm sorry. We are going to make an increase in each round, 2 single crochets in each round for a total of 24 at the end of the row. Okay, slip to join, and then single crochet. I guess I can work through both loops. We'll see how that works out. So in that same stitch, we're going to make a single crochet, 1, 2, next stitch, 1, 2, and you know how to increase 2 in each stitch. Alright, once you have made your 24 single crochets, go ahead and slip to join to that first single crochet, and then you want to leave about 8 inches for sewing. Okay, next thing we're going to do is the cross, or the star. I'm sorry, it's not a cross, it's a star. I don't know why I keep getting out of this frame. I moved the camera here. So this is going to be a challenge. You know what, if you guys can find a better way to do this, go for it. But I was just thinking in my childhood ages on how I drew a star. So that was going with that. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom and then pull up. See how long this is. Come up to the top, just like we did with the pencil. Only it's not that easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back out at the top. We can't come out the same way we went in, because then we'll undo our stitch. So I move over like a fiber just to get my yarn to stay, and then come down. Okay, remember we would come up here. Again, I'm just using the little fibers from the crochet thread. I'm just grabbing everything here. Okay, and then we went here, And then still around the same. Don't want it too far over. But then again, we don't want it. I don't think that's good enough. Because I've had to redo this. So this might take some practice. Don't get discouraged. It will come. Just, you know, go back in your little childhood age. And then remember making a star. You might have to maneuver it a little bit. I don't think anybody's going to be that critical. But you never know. If you don't get this on your first try, please do not get discouraged. Just keep trying. So that's my star. I'm not very comfortable with this, so I'm just going to try to pull that over so there's not that hole. Yeah. I might have to do it a couple times. You know what? I'm pretty cool with that. Okay. Right, so now what we're going to do is sew our little emblem or logo on our shoe. Now, if you don't have one of these, this is actually too big, but you probably want to grab something. I just have this thread right here. I'm just going to stick it in there like that so I can have something to maneuver this with. And also, side note, you do not need this big long thread like I did for the star. Probably 12 inches I think would be plain and safe. And all we're going to do is just sew right here on the side. Now this is the other side of my shoe. I'm trying to see, this is my left side. Now I got to make my right side. So be sure that you have those sides together. And just use this as a guide as far as your centering. So I'm just going to sew, I know I'm going to go right under this top row and then go down and probably to the white row for this. So I've already threaded my needle, and how many stitches over? About 4. Yeah, I think that's good. So basically what we're going to do is just go under your logo and then just sew all the way around. Super simple. And then just keeping note that you want it to be even with the other one. Okay, so go ahead and sew that all the way around and I'll meet you back. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is our shoestring, and all I've done is I've taken my yarn and I've chained 61. Okay, and I also put the little plastic thing in here. Now you can also use this thread if you have that. You can use a pill bottle, whatever works for you. You don't have that, and you can also, if you don't, you know, particularly care for the way that I'm doing the shoestrings, by all means, you can do it a whole different other way. Now all I'm doing is coming down here to the bottom corners, the bottom of the tongue, or the sides. Okay, so we're going to do 1 yarn over straight across. I like to get these even on this first time. Okay, and then we're going to cross over like that, probably in the middle of the side. Okay, and now I just want to see where I'm at right here, so I know I want to pull that right here. You can use your crochet hook as a guide. Okay, still kind of even here. And then one last time, and this is going to be up on top. Careful not to break any of the stitches on the shoe. have to maneuver the tongue a little bit. And then over here. There you have it. Baby's feet are really small, so you might want to go with a little bit smaller yarn. It's totally up to you. And then from here you can just go ahead and make your knots. Well, let me go grab the other shoe. There you have it. Your little Converse booties. So cute. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I apologize for any confusion. Just remember, I am not a professional and I don't have professional recording equipment. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, share. A thumbs up wouldn't hurt. And together, let's continue to crochet it forward. Bye now.